Okay, we are going to go over how to carve to make your own stamp. This is another form of printmaking called a linoleum carving. Some rules that we have for carving: do not open your blades or begin at all until you are instructed to do so. Do not get out of your seat for any reason once the carving has begun. Literally, even if you need a tissue, please raise your hand so I can help you. If you need anything, do raise your hand and then stop carving when I get to you to whisper to me, please, so that we are not distracting others. Emergency clause: if you do happen to get cut, please call my name and tell me that you got cut. Do not get up. Number 4, one of the most important rules is that there is no talking. I had a student who was nearly an expert, created many of these carvings, yet when someone talked to him, he ended up cutting himself. So there is no talking to happen in the classroom while you are carving. Okay, so the materials that we're going to need for our practice piece is just a little piece of tracing paper, or a little piece of linoleum. Kind of looks like a little piece of rubber. It is flexible. You will need a bench hook, which is this wooden apparatus, and then we also need a glove. The glove is for the hand that you do not write with. Okay, so I am right-handed. I need a left-handed glove. Some of them, like this one, could go on either hand, but some you need to be careful which glove you are getting. You will also need a pencil. We're going to start out with just a very simple design. So think about a basic shape that you could draw, and we're just going to draw this out on our piece of paper. This is so if we make any mistakes, it's easy to erase and change things. If you're making something more complicated, obviously there could be more possibility for erasing. So we want to get in the hang of putting this on paper first. Again, we're using tracing paper because we are going to use a special transfer technique, and we want to be able to see through the paper when we do this. So I'm just going to do a basic heart, and then I am going to put a letter inside my heart, like that. Now, once I have everything the way I want it, I'm going to go back over it and make it nice and dark. Okay, once it is outlined nice and dark, I'm going to take that and I'm going to flip it over onto my linoleum. If you are doing a larger piece, I would recommend taping the sides down so it doesn't move on you. This is going to be pretty simple, so I'm just going to hold it in place. I'm then going to scribble. See how we see the design? I'm going to scribble over my design. Again, this is face down, but I can see through my paper since I am using tracing paper. I'm not outlining it, I'm scribbling over it, and only where I have those lines. That's why we use the tracing paper. Now I will pick it up and reveal that it has transferred. But you will notice my E is now backwards. It has created a mirror image. If we think about this as a stamp, once we carve this out, we will then print it, and it will go back into the correct direction. Okay? Our knives are going to be in boxes like this. You will have an assigned number on the lid of your box, and I will give you that number. Once you are instructed to begin, then you may open up your knife. This is the handle. The blades are inside the handle, so I'm going to unscrew the handle and pour out my blades. There are a few different options. The curved outward part is the part that is safe to touch and will go into the handle part. So you can see here this curved outward part, this curved outward part. These with the pointy ends, that is your blade. Do not touch the blade part. You can see kind of how sharp that is. We have a couple different sizes. So this one is like a little U, you can see. That U shape is going to be your widest one to carve with and the easiest. So I'm going to start with that. But you do see that there are a few more options that's more like a V, and then a really teeny guy. This one is really good for your details. So this would be good to possibly do the letter E because it's nice and small. But this is the hardest one to use, so we're going to wait until the end for that one. All of my blades go back into my handle. Please don't leave them out and possibly lean on them. It also makes the handle have a lot more structure when we have the end on it to use. Okay, getting the blade inside my handle, I have to loosen this part of the metal. So I'm just twisting it open. And you should see there's actually two parts in there. There is this little kind of ball part to it, and then there's a thin side that's not attached. So if you accidentally unscrew this too far, it will come apart and fall apart. Please get my attention and let me fix that if that happens, because it can be put together upside down and it just doesn't work right when that happens. But you can see now there are two pieces here that come together in the handle. So we actually want the blade to go in between the thicker piece and this thin little guy. Okay, but they're nearly touching. We just loosen it enough that the blade will slip between the two. Okay, I'm going to put that back together. That should not happen, but if it does, just get my attention and I will fix it for you. So I'm looking for that thinner side and that little ball that is there, and I'm going to slip my blade in between those two metal pieces. It should go in pretty easily. Sometimes it needs a little twist. But if it's not, then something is wrong. You might not be putting it in correctly. Raise your hand for help. It should go down until this thicker part of the blade there is sticking out, and then I'm just going to tighten it back up. Okay. We always want to be carving towards the wooden block here. It is possible that you could slip, and when we slip, we don't want to be aiming at our hands. We want to be aiming towards this wooden block. I'm also going to put this glove on the hand I don't carve with, because I'm most likely not going to get cut holding it. My other hand is the hand that's in danger. So I'm going to put this glove on just in case. Okay, now I'm ready to carve. I can hold on to this if I want, but again, I want to just keep turning my linoleum so I'm going towards the wooden block when I carve. I'm going to carve out around my heart. So I'm just kind of gliding this. If you notice, it has the U shape. It looks like the letter U as I'm doing it. Not upside down. The points should not be down. The points should be up. Okay? And I'm just kind of gliding it over the surface. I'm not trying to dig way down deep into it. I'm just gliding over the surface and kind of cutting away that extra material. And I can repeat that all the way to the outside edge. I'm not cutting this off. I don't want to go down far. If you think about a stamp, it often has still that raised area to it, but we want to just get rid of that top surface. Okay? It's also a good idea to go around all of your edges first and then come back and do some more of your background. Again, I'm turning my linoleum, but I'm still putting my knife towards the wooden block. So just keep turning as I have my curves. Just like so. Once we have this fully carved out, we will then learn tomorrow about how to ink this up to print it appropriately. So there's my whole outline, and again, then I can continue to take out the rest of the background. When I'm ready to clean up, I'm going to unscrew my blade, put it back in my box. Once I call your number, when I see all blades are away, I'll call your number to collect all of the knives. Do not do anything else until I have all of the knives back, please. Then all of our little scraps can go right onto our bench hook while we're waiting, so that when you are called to clean up everything else, these scraps can just be taken to the trash can. Your stamp will stay in your folder. And I do want to show a few more examples. So yes, this was a very basic one, but look at what you can do with this. Remember, we're working with pattern. So a stamp can be used to create multiple stamps of the same image. So I could make a pattern with this in multiple colors. I could do this as a checkerboard style. I could also possibly do like a drop pattern. I could then also work a little bit larger and include pattern within my stamp. So instead of repeating the image too many times, the image itself could contain pattern. So I have a pattern of lines with the grass back here, a pattern of lines with the dirt as well. Okay, so you could create an actual image of something. And then here is one that was done with radial balance. So they actually created a triangle, so one piece of a circle, and then this was printed 12 times actually to create one full radial design. Okay, so that is also an option as well.